of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bond that frames our destiny. So let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky. So let us make Africa the tree of life.
Mati?
Hello. Hi. My name is Matifadze Tayimu. I am 18 years old and I will be the moderator for the 16 to 18 category today. So first, could we please have the address from Dr. Tilly?
Thank you. I must confess that I find all of you awesome, from the 6 to 9 year olds up to this present age. I wish I was like that when I was your ages.
Thank you.
I am Dr. Abiola Thompson Tiligiado, a community health physician from Lagos in Nigeria. I have over 40 years of experience in people-centered community and international development work. Amongst my diverse range of expertise and strong passion is child rights, international health policy, advocacy, programming and management. First of all, I would like to wish all of you a happy Children's Day today. And will also like to implore you, wherever you are on the 16th of June, which is the day that we are marking the uprisings in Soweto, to spare a thought and prayers for all those children in Soweto in 1976 who could not grow up to become parents or grandparents. May their souls rest in perfect peace. We will be talking about one of the things that gave rise to that uprising, and that is the right to education. I have worked in various capacities in my working life. As part of that, I had been pioneering HIV/AIDS control. I had been responsible for facilitating the children's program and reports on an Africa Fit for Children for the African Union. I speak in various fora on various issues that have to deal particularly with children and human rights. Presently, I am supervising the CSR, that's the Community Service Responsibility, for an organization called GAN International. I'm also the chairperson of Natural Eco Capital. I sit on the board of many CSOs, one of which is the biggest NGO network. That's the Nigerian Network of Non-Governmental Organizations, triple NGO. Why am I telling you all this? because I find each of you a promising and awesome leader for the future. And don't accept that you are just leaders of the future, because the future is now. You have to start what it is that you want to do as leaders. Quality education. It is a big honor, as I told you, to be able to address in your nascent years as owners and leaders of tomorrow's Africa, to discuss this crucial topic of the right to education and your participation in shaping the future. Education is not merely a privilege, it is a fundamental right that should be available to all, regardless of one's background or circumstances, including gender. In addition, most of us as young Africans, you are inheritors of a rich legacy, and you should be proud of it, because one of the earliest universities in the world is sited in Africa, in Timbuktu. We've come a long way. We need to ensure that with your generation, we have a lot more reference points that the world will continue to look up on. So you are inheritors of a rich legacy. You are brimming with potential and boundless talent. The road to realizing your dreams and aspirations, however, must begin with education. Education empowers you with knowledge, critical thinking skills, and the ability to navigate the complex world we live in. It equips you with the tools needed to challenge injustice, to combat discrimination, and break free from the chains of systemic barriers. It is your passport to a brighter future, enabling you to create lasting change, not only for yourselves, but for your communities and the world at large. Yet this right to education is not guaranteed to everyone in many parts of our beloved continent. Access to quality education remains a challenge, leaving countless young minds marginalized and deprived of opportunities. This is an injustice that must be confronted head-on. I implore each and every one of you to embrace your right to education and strive for excellence. Take ownership of your learning journey and make the most of the resources available to you. Seek knowledge, ask questions, and never shy away from exploring new horizons. Remember, education is not limited to just the classrooms, your books, and exams. It is a continuous learning experience. In your environment, you have learning opportunities. Amongst your peers, you have learning opportunities. As you embark, therefore, on your educational path, remember that your participation is vital. Your unique perspectives, voices, and experiences are invaluable assets. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. Question outdated practices and advocate for inclusive and equitable educational opportunities. Become active participants in your education by engaging in constructive, respectful, open dialogue with your peers, teachers, and mentors. Seek out opportunities to collaborate, share ideas, and work collectively towards innovative solutions to the challenges you face. Remember that it is a transformative force that can empower you to be the author of the change you wish to see. In conclusion, my dear nascent African and world leaders, never underestimate the power of education. and your role in shaping your own destiny. Embrace your right to education, overcome obstacles, let your voices be heard. Network with each other to be fearless, to be determined, and to strive for excellence at all times. Identify a mentor for your journey, and in turn, be a mentor to other people. Together, we can create a future where every young person, regardless of their background, has access to quality education and the opportunity to unleash their full potential. I wish you the very best of luck in your journey. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr.
I'm sorry if
Tilly.
you're hearing sounds.
Thank you for that beautiful
She's a junior member of your group.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Okay. So as I said before,
hello,
my name is...
moderator. Hello, moderator. Hello, moderator. Please, you will
Hello.
permit me to speak for a while now because I'm at the airport. I'm traveling. I'm supposed to do the closing remarks for every session. I missed the other one for poverty because my things were going through the security. So now I'm at the boarding gate. I'm going to be called on board any moment from now. So please let me just say a few words to the wonderful leaders of tomorrow, if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Not a problem at all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really would like to really commend Dr. Abiola Tiligiado for her wonderful presentation. It's really, really apt for the wonderful children. I would even call you leaders, you know. So having said that, happy Children's Day. And let me really congratulate each and every one of you and all your teachers, parents, for bringing you aboard this beautiful forum to exchange, you know, your wisdom and intellectual properties with children of other countries. Education, I would like to say that for the last few years have been very difficult for early years providers in particular, and you know, even for the advanced stage, particularly throughout the pandemic, COVID-19. If you all remember the COVID-19 pandemic, schools were closed down, and this brought all kinds of settings with staff shortages, and our entire education system in Africa in particular moved online as millions sat at home with their parents, carers, walking through videos and worksheets on their laptops and electronic devices. It was tough. But for African children to have survived this, because we all know what it is, that the technology in Africa is not so advanced. And even when you have the devices for online education, where is the electricity to drive it? So, you know, but before we really launch into the tirade of how terrible and difficult it was for us, let us spare a thought for the millions of African children who experienced the pandemic in Africa or in any other developing country for that matter. Yes, their schools were closed too, but many did not have a school to go to in the first place. Before the pandemic, many African children did not even have a school to go to. So yes, there were fewer staff, But with an unequal availability of vaccines and healthcare, many more staff were even lost in these countries. And whilst we were bemoaning having to watch an online video of basic counter, let us spare a thought for all those children who could only dream of owning any type of online device, let alone dreaming of having any electricity to run it. From the whole thought process, the whole thought process dies in their dream. Hello, children, I'm calling on you that you should make sure you appreciate mom and dad, of course. Appreciate African Views Organization for creating this wonderful platform for you to celebrate yourselves as great African children and heroic leaders of tomorrow. Believe it or not, your tomorrow is now. And I want you to see this forum that African Views Organization has provided you as education. Don't just go away after today and put everything away. Start looking at the Sustainable Development Goals. Start looking at all the 17 goals under the Sustainable Development Goals. And when you activate the Sustainable Development Goals 2 to 17, we will eradicate poverty. And the best way to eradicate poverty is through education. Education, for me, let me tell you, children, education is not just being literate and becoming doctors or lawyers or engineers. Education means having good skill sets. Education means building capacity for yourselves. Education means, browsing through your intellectual properties and be able to help solve problems in your communities. Because when you solve problems in your communities, then we eradicate poverty. Thank you. I love you all. Love you, love you, love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a very beautiful and insightful speech. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Okay.
you. I thought you would at least mention my name. I am Chief Mrs. Anita Nana Okuribido. I am the president of African Views Network, Nigeria, and I am also the president of Women in Renewable Energy Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So now we have the 16 to 18 age category, where we will be talking about the SDG goal of education. So I will be the moderator for this section. My name is Matifadze Tayimu. I am 18 years old. I am from Zimbabwe, but I live in Botswana. So currently I'm on a gap year. I'm waiting to go to university where I hope to study computer science or mechatronic engineering. So education can be thought of the transmission of knowledge, skills, and values. And the SDG goal of education for 2063 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So now we will have our panelists speaking. So to make it a bit easier, can we please have all our age 16 to 18 panelists raise their hands on Zoom so that I can keep track of everyone and call them. So every panelist who will be speaking today, age 16 to 18, please raise your hand so that I can address you. Okay. Could we Please start with Awura.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Hi.
hear you.
All right,
But
so hi.
is it
Pardon?
possible? I'm saying I can't really see you. Is your camera on?
Hi.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
All right, so hi guys, I'm Irabna Oppong-Duah. I recently turned 15 in March. I come from Oda, which is a locality in the eastern region of Ghana. I am currently studying Wasi Science in Ghana Christian International High School, and I'm in the 10th grade. When I get older, I'd love to offer clinical psychology and psychiatry in university because I'm passionate about those two things. And I like to read, sleep, and I like to eat French fries. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can also give your presentation now.
All right. So, what I did was under the SDGs, the fourth one was quality education, and there were targets under each of them, right? So I think there were from 4.1 to 4.7, and what I did was I took each target and I identified the problems associated with that target. So for instance, the first one, which is 4.1, was to ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education, leading to relevant and effective learning outcomes. And some problems I cited were the lack of educational facilities in Africa, illiteracy and poverty, lack of trained educators, lack of resources, stuff like that. And then I realized that some of the problems were prevalent among all of them, and they were common in all the targets, right? So the common problems I cited was illiteracy and poverty. So one challenge Africa faces in achieving the educational goal outlined by the United Nations in their Sustainable Development Goals is illiteracy and poverty. So when many people in Ghana, not just Ghana, in Africa, are struggling with poverty, they are battling poverty. And as such, they do not have the resources to send their children to school. And let's say I'm 15, right? So let's say I'll be going to university soon and my parents are poor. I do not think they'll prioritize my education over putting a roof over my head and providing clothes for me. Do you understand? Yes. And illiteracy. Many people in Africa do not and are illiterate, so they do not understand the value of education. For instance, if I were living in a rural community and was not as privileged as I am right now, and my parents were illiterate, I don't think they'll see the value of me going to school since they made it out okay, right? They made it out fine with being illiterate. Maybe we are not the richest, but then they can still provide food for me. I'm still breathing, I'm still walking. So illiteracy and poverty is one of the common problems I cited. The second one was in Africa, most of the time we focus on theory than practical. In Tanzania, their educational system is more focused on theoretical things. And that's a problem many of us Africans face. It's not that we do not know what we have to do, the problem is we do not know how to apply the education we've gotten, right? So for instance, let's say I'm doing biology. And you see, in biology, I'm a science student, so yeah, I do these things. So in biology, right, let's say we're doing biological drawings, we're doing parts of a fish. Most of the time in Africa, we will not bring the live fish to the classroom to dissect it and open the parts. Most of the time, we refer from pictures from the internet, and we do not usually get a practical feel of the thing. So our education system is based on theory than practical, and I feel that that is not good at all. In Finland, for instance, they base their education on practical more than theory, and it's working great for them. And it's a country that's known to have one of the best education systems in the world. So I feel like if African countries take the practical aspect of education more seriously, we will be able to overcome the problems. Not saying that the theoretical aspect is not important. Yeah, and then gender inequality in most countries in Africa, we mostly focus on educating the boys. And I know we think that it's completely gone, it's completely eradicated, but then still in most rural areas in the countries, there's still gender inequality and imbalance where they prioritize male education to female education. I know places in Ghana where you go to right now, they will say the girls are home and the boys are being educated. So yeah, that's one of the factors that hinder Africa from achieving the SDG goal associated with education. And the last problem I cited, which was common to all of the targets set out, was lack of infrastructure and resources. So let's say we do get over the gender equality problems and we do get over the illiteracy, and parents are allowing their children to go to school. In most areas, like developing countries, especially in Africa, we do not have enough educational facilities to support these students. So even if these students were ready to learn, even if these students were ready to be educated, there will not be enough tables and chairs to support them, the textbooks, the notebooks that they will need, and even the workmanship, which are the teachers, the professors, the lecturers, are inadequate in Ghana. So who am I to give problems without bringing out solutions? So then the solutions I can give is sensitizing the public. The Africa in general needs to be sensitized on the need for quality education, on the need to educate their children, and not just children, both male and female, and even older people, right? So we need to sensitize the public in education. Also, we must invest, and the governments must prioritize the education of their citizens, whether young or old, male or female. We must invest in their education because at the end of the day, the children are the future leaders. So if they are not educated, they wouldn't be able to run the affairs of the nation when they grow older. Also, workers in the educational facilities, all teachers, all educators must be motivated properly. Because another problem associated with Africa that prevent them from achieving the goal is brain drain. So this is the case where we do have educated adults who may be ready to teach the children, but the government is not paying them. They have low education, they barely have insurance. So we must motivate the workers, especially in the educational industries, so that they will be able to give out their best when educating the children. Also, we must train um, uh, must train we must train and educate properly, in the sense that we must apply both theory and practical in our educational system to ensure that in the future we'll have the knowledge and we'll be able to apply it. So yeah, those are the problems and the solutions I came across. And even and another thing is segregation and discrimination. In most parts of Africa, if you have money, if you are privileged, you probably go to a better school than the ones who are unfortunately not privileged enough. And I feel like that's also hindering the development of education in Africa. The government must make sure that everybody has access to quality education all across the world, because that was one of the causes of the Soweto Uprising. Aside the Afrikaans language that they were being forced to learning, the people who were more privileged were getting access to better education. So yes, that's the last thing. I feel that segregation and discrimination should not be encouraged, and we should all look at the effects of that and try to put it to bed so that Africa can grow when it comes to education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Awira, for your presentation. And thank you for highlighting the problems with solutions as well. That was very insightful, and I'm sure we have all learned something from what you had to say. So thank you very much for that. Okay, next, can we please have Deeper Life High School?
Good day, my name is Yohirin Caleb. I'm a 15 years old grade 11 student at Deeper Life High School, Lagos, Nigeria. I'm an indigenous of Edo State and a proud citizen of my nation, Nigeria. I'm here to itemize one of the greatest challenges in my continent, Africa, which is education. In the recent years, it has been deteriorating compared to the Western nation, like Europe, Asia, and America, due to various setbacks, such as religious setbacks and financial setbacks. Financial setbacks in the sense that not a great amount of funds is given due to the unhidden fact of bad leadership that we have suffered after post-colonial era, and religion due to the downgrading of the female race, not giving them the privilege to go to school, and so many other religions stopping children from going to school and not believing in education, like the Boko Haram Nigeria is currently suffering. I feel these problems are affecting Africa in developing and in having quality education. Due to the recent charts given, Nigeria doesn't meet up to UN standard for the financial budgets, and neither do African universities reach top of the charts compared to Harvard, Oxford, and many other great universities in the world. These problems can be solved due to adequate amount of funds towards education. I think with more money given, with more prioritizing to the educational sector, I think Africa at large will progress. And I think people should leave their regional beliefs and give more strength to the female race, giving them more advantage and more privilege to go to school, learn, and get educated. I believe the Boko Haram movement should stop. I think education should be seen to be something that affects Africa for the greater good. I think Africa's greatest problem is just our mindset and our beliefs. And I think with that being put aside, with us moving forward, learning a lot and opening doors to many opportunities and also giving quality to where it's deserving, I think we'll move forward. I'm very glad to be a part of the African Views, and I believe my view will go very far and help my nation and my continent, Africa. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Greetings to you all. My name is Nteboheleng Exinia Makara and I'm 18 years of age. I grew up in the mountain kingdom of Lesotho, but now staying in Botswana. I enjoy reading and writing poetry, singing, most importantly, playing tennis. I completed high school last year and currently waiting to enroll in studying at the University of Botswana. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the most important SDGs set by the United Nations, which is quality education. Nelson Mandela once said, I quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world," which indeed he was right. Education improves one's knowledge, skills, and develops the personality and attitude. Education assists us in identifying our hidden abilities and talents. For example, we have reading and writing books, which we can use to advance our careers, find work, and ensure our promising future. Yeah? Do we not all want a secured future and developed future? But what in fact is the reality that we live in? According to UNESCO, worldwide, 244 million children, 244 million children are still out of school for social, economic, and cultural reasons. This is approximately nearly all Nigerians' population. Take a moment and imagine a whole country going without education. Disastrous. Education is power, and not a single person can ever deny this fact. It is indeed the key to success. Without education, you cannot and will never be successful. World Bank reports show that culture still plays a huge part in denying children education. Take, for instance, in my culture, a boy child is expected to take care of animals at a young age and to act as heads of families. For the girls, while most obstacles are similar to those of boys, they also take care of sick parents and siblings. All these factors lead to an African child being denied of quality education and becoming a victim of poverty, one way or the other. Let me share with you a true story of my grandmother who was denied education at a very young age. My grandmother was determined to complete her studies and escape the life she lived in. She grew up with 4 older sisters and an older brother, making her the youngest of them all. My grandmother's dad, who is my great-grandfather, decided to make my grandmother leave school at the age of 12 in order for her to look after animals. He believed there was more wealth in more animals and not education. This practice is actually associated with the tradition that wealth is measured in terms of the number of livestock a family has. It is interesting that despite the introduction of formal education in Lesotho, the head boy practice has continued over the years. My grandmother may have been denied the right of quality education, but she sure made sure that her children never get to go through that path. She kept her word, and her children are currently changing the world, all because of education. I believe education is truly a ticket out of poverty. Education is the most powerful weapon. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can entirely change the world. So do yourself or neighbor a favor and get educated so that the next generation can have the opportunity to have a better future and develop the skills they need to follow their dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Intebo. Thank you. That was very amazing. Thank you for that. Next, can we please have Amina to speak? Amina? Okay. I'm also waiting for Amina. Can we please have Lenny?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lini Lisanda, and I'm currently 14 years old. I'm currently taking my Form 3s in a homeschooling center. My hobbies are crocheting and reading. My favorite book would probably be The Songs of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm gonna start my presentation by telling you guys the definition of education. Education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instructions, especially to a school or a university. Education in Africa. African children often face schools that are badly equipped and understaffed, with teachers who are poorly trained. In a recent Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, ranking of the 76 education system around the world, South Africa and Ghana were ranked at the lowest. Every year, 10 million children drop out of primary school in sub-Saharan Africa. Adult literacy rates in sub-Saharan Africa are around 59% compared to the global average of 84%. Kenyans teachers are absent on average an average for half the time. Poor education is a personal tragedy that imprisons people in poverty. It's also a collective failure that could also cost the continent its chance to prosper. If all 15-year-olds achieved a basic level of education, Ghana could increase its economic growth by 3,881% and South Africa by 2,624%. Globally, there are 67 million children out of school. 43% live in Africa. Some reasons why children are not in school is because there's a lack of faculties, culture, and the need to be employment. What can Africa do to change it? The government needs to focus on the unglamorous area and do some vocation training. The government must work closely with employees to find out where the skill gaps lie. In African schools must harness new technology, distance learning, and is when lessons are live streamed over the internet. In South Africa, private schools enrollment rose by 76% in the decade of 2010, and they have introduced changes in the curriculum called blended learning. Blended learning is an online learning and classroom lesson that are combined. In South Sudan, increased school attendance considerably by building permanent classrooms with sanitary faculties. Another way Africa can improve their education is by changing the definition of classroom. Knowledge can be acquired during a conference-style seminars, community-based meetings, or even during group sports events. The introduction of technology to a classroom offers a vast opportunity to enhance learning and improve data collections to drive down costs for progress. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lenny. That was very insightful. Thank you so much for that. Could we please have Naiko? Naiko Lisenda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Naiko Lisenda, and I stay in Botswana, Gaborone. I'm currently 17 years old and finishing my Form 5s this year. I went to school at Tonyo Primary School for my primary, then did my secondary at Falcon College and Camp Botswana STEM Academy. I enjoy playing football as it's my favorite sport, as my favorite player is Lionel Messi and close second Neymar Jr. I also sometimes enjoy listening to music, mostly to chill, rap, sometimes even amapiano music. I can also play the instruments, some being the marimbas and others the saxophone. Reading mangas and light novels are also a thing that I do during my free time. When I grow up, I aspire to become a professional football player. And as you know, it's very tough to do that. So if that doesn't work out, I'll go and study finance or engineering and uni. So today I'll be talking about education. So what is quality education? It is the type of education that keeps learners healthy, well-nourished, and eager to participate and learn. It helps learners become independent and broadens their skills. It enables upward development of society and is a key to escaping poverty. It helps reduce the inequalities and reach gender equality, and is crucial to fostering tolerance and more peaceful societies. It gives our children knowledge of our species, knowledge of the types of foods we eat, types of colors we see, why the sky is blue and the grass is green, why the sun only comes during the day and moon at night. Without education, society as a whole will not change. It's a very powerful weapon that can be used to change the world. With education, we get our doctors, law enforcers, and leaders that we citizens rely on heavily. So without education, it will be really hard for the world to move. That's all from me, and I thank you for listening to me about the presentation.
Thank you, Naiko, for preparing that presentation. Thank you. I'm sure we all enjoyed listening to that. Okay. So next, can we have Caleb? Because it was, but it's okay. He's muted now. You can continue. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, so as I was saying, my name is Anina. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Senegal. I'm in the the Bilingual School of Dakar, LCB. I like to read. My favorite book is The Invisible Life of Adi LaRue. I like to paint. I like art. And I like programming. I'd want to do a major in computer science in the future. So today we are talking about quality education. Africa is the continent with the youngest population worldwide. It is a continent blessed youth. Over 1/5 of the primary age children are out of school, and almost 6% of youth between the ages of 16 and 17 are not in school. This is not normal. We are the future of our countries. We are the futures of our continent. We are going to be the diplomats, the problem solvers, and the leaders of tomorrow. And it is important that we all have access to education, quality education, not only the people that can afford it, but for everyone. So here are some solutions to better the educational system in Africa. First, like I've said before, everybody should be in school, no matter your background, no matter who you are, and no matter what the amount of income that your parents have. We should increase investment in and improve models of learning that prepare African youth for the future of work. We should make education mandatory. For example, in my country, Senegal, education is said to be mandatory, but they don't check it. So some parents keep their children at home instead of putting them to school. So I think it is mandatory that the government check that the children are indeed put in school. We should strengthen the teacher training and support. We should promote inclusive education, so for everyone, no matter the gender, because in many cases in Africa or in any country, but like in Senegal, some children, especially girls, are known to be kept at home to cook or to take care of the family instead of putting them in school. So I think it is mandatory that anyone, no matter your gender, can go to school. So here are some solutions that I am proposing. And as Malcolm X said, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you. I like how you gave us some examples from your country as well. Thank you for that. Okay. Next, could we please have Mafeni to speak?
Good day, my name is Mafeni Yuleme. I am 15 years old. I am in grade 10 in Deeper Life High School, Lagos, Nigeria. I am here to speak on the topic education. The UN SDGs goal for education is quality education. The issue mainly being faced in Africa with education is the lack of quality being provided in government schools and even some private schools. Quality education in Nigeria is now seen as a thing for the rich and is not made available to the less privileged. In Nigeria, for example, the government is not putting in enough funds to fund the education system and the government schools in Nigeria. Government schools in Africa should be developed, the learning environment should be developed, science labs as well as computer laboratories and other facilities need to be developed in the schools in order to increase the quality of education in the schools. The African curriculum also needs to be adjusted to fit the UN standard in order to increase the standard of quality education given to African children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mafeni. Thank you, Mafeni. So I think that Mafeni was our last speaker, unless if there's anybody who I have missed out on, you are free to speak now. If there's anyone I haven't called.
Hey, please, I haven't spoken. Renowned Scot-Perry, speaking from Ghana. I firstly want to use this opportunity to thank African View Organization for the great privilege and honor to be here today. Thank you so much. I'm eternally grateful. As I mentioned before, my name is Renowned Scot-Perry, speaking from Ghana, specifically Ghana Christian International High School. I really want to become a sound engineer and a musician when I grow up. I'm learning quite a number of instruments, or I have learned quite a number of instruments, and I'm currently doing science. I'm in the 10th grade. Yes. You're talking about education. First, what is education? As mentioned earlier, education is the transmission of knowledge, skills, and characteristics. But let's focus on quality education here. What does the quality mean in education? It means that education is the main focus. It strengthens the capacity of children to act progressively on their own behalf through the acquisition of relevant knowledge and useful skills. Okay, so knowledge that is relevant. One issue that we have realized in Africa is that the educational systems, or what we are being taught in schools, it encompasses many things that are not really useful to us, or things that are not going to benefit us in the future. I saw this site where someone knew, an African, he knew a lot about American history, but when asked how to grow simple corn, he couldn't. This is because the education or the what we are being taught is not necessarily, some of the things are not useful to us. Another point is that we don't have what it takes, or there is lack of what it takes to have quality education. As the speakers who came before, the rich or the privileged are the only ones who are able to afford quality education, whereas those who are not privileged or those who are not really rich cannot be able to afford education. The rich attend private schools and what's not, where the poor are in public schools. And these public schools, the government don't care about them. Teachers come to class drunk. Students, a lot of things go on in the school. People don't care what's going on. A lot of things are going on, and this is really hindering the educational advancement in Africa. Another problem that's really affecting the educational sector in Africa, it's stereotypes and misconceptions, especially the stereotype about girls. Girls are not able to attend school. Girls don't have what it takes to attend school and be prominent in society. In the modern world, you may argue that, well, this is not what's going on. Maybe girls are becoming independent, and it seems like the modern world or the world that's coming now, girls are going to be the center. But if you pay close attention, especially in Africa, we see that it's exactly the opposite. Girls, especially in rural communities, rural areas, girls are left in their house to take care of, to cook, to do household chores, when boys are sent to school. And this is really affecting the educational sector, because we all know that girls have what it takes to be prominent in society. Also, whilst going through the SDG goals concerning education, one of the targets, it says that so the target 4.3, it says by 2030, ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education, including university. In Africa, or let's even take it globally, men and women have pride. They really see themselves away. So for a normal person, for a man, let's say in his 20s or his 30s, to go back to school, it really takes, or he really sees it to take a toll on his status in society or who he is. Yes. And in the previous meeting we had, I think yesterday, I came across this and he said that in Africa there is no place to apply. Like once, let's say for example, I learned something, or I've gone through tertiary education, primary education, secondary education. When I'm done, there's no place to apply my skills, because the way the economy and the development of Africa, or how Africa has been structured, we are not able to apply our skills, our vocational skills, our technical skills. Yes, we can't apply them in Africa. That's why a lot of people, after they've learned, people are expected to make Africa better, bigger, stronger, help them develop. But then we see most of these people traveling outside Africa, going to Europe, going to America, yes, going all these places to make good use of their skills and their education they've learned. Yes, and these problems are really affecting education sector in Ghana. In Ghana, in Africa, I came across a site it's really, whilst I was researching for this, it's really shocked me and surprised me, because here it says the out of school rate among primary school age children in Africa is less than 10%, while it is over 50% for upper secondary schools. And the rate is increasing in several countries. It's gradually increasing progressively, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. Many African countries especially sub-Saharan Africa. It is home to the world's largest out-of-school population. 1 in 5 primary school age children and well over half of upper secondary school children, adolescents are not attending school. And to think about this, like 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, this means that it's really a problem to Africa. Since I've mentioned the points, after I better give solutions now. I think the first thing to do, we have to expand access to quality educational materials. Educational materials, books, pens, even educational facilities like schools. There are not enough facilities in Africa, and we need this to advance as a continent. So we need to invest in teachers, invest in materials, invest in technology, invest in infrastructure, a lot of things. And I really want to share on the fact that we should encourage female participation in the fields. STEM is an approach to learning and development that integrates the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. Females should be encouraged. There should be female participation in all these areas, science, technology, and yes. We should also improve teacher to student ratio in primary schools, and make sure that teachers are given jobs because they deserve it and they are willing to do it. You know, in Africa, there's a lot of bribery and corruption. Let me put it in that way. Bribery and corruption, there's a lot of nepotism, there's a lot of favoritism. And this is really affecting Africa as a whole, not even just in the educational sector, but in Africa, economic, social, everything. So we have to improve the teacher to student ratio in primary school classrooms, and we should make sure that teachers are given jobs because they are willing to do it and they want to do it. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again.
Thank you, Reynold. Thank you very much for your speech. Is there anybody else who hasn't gotten a chance to speak? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your very well-prepared speeches on education. So to close off this section, I'd like to ask one question to the panelists from ages 15 to 18. Yes, I'd like to ask you guys a question. So this is free to anyone to answer. Just raise your hand so that I can pick you to answer. So I would like to know how you guys think we can improve the quality and the access to education in Africa. How can our governments work to improve that? How can we as individuals work to improve that? How can we improve the quality and the access to education? Yes, Awura?
All right, so thank you for the opportunity once again. I'd like to say that we must take a critical look at our educational system and see, we should revise it to see the things that are necessary in the syllabus and the syllabi of Africa. Because as I was saying earlier, we mostly focus on theory than practical, and it's not helping our education. And also we must invest in our educational system to improve access And one other thing is we as Africans must be sensitized to change our mentality. Most of us feel that education is not as important, and we must change our mentality, and the government must strive to educate us on the need to educate ourselves and our children to be able to improve access to education and the quality of education. I feel that we must revise our syllabi to fit modern needs. Because right now in Ghana, most of the primary 6 children are still learning Microsoft 2018 software. And we are living in a world where AI is fast developing. And I feel that if we want to develop our educational system and meet up with the goals outlined in the SDG, we must improve and look at syllabi. Thank you.
Thank you, Awura, for your answer. Thank you very much for that. Afia, would you like to answer as well? I can see your hand is raised.
Yes, so my name is Maimouna Swafshajan. I am 16 years old and I'm currently in Senegal. And so if I was to answer to this question, I think that the biggest problem of Africa is that governments do not focus enough on education, and they must start to really like think about how the small kids are the one that will like that will improve the world of tomorrow. And so I completely agree with what I think Awura just said. She mentioned the fact that the mentality in Africa is really it's to be improved, and that governments they don't talk enough about education. They do stuff, but they don't do it more. And that's my point of view.
Okay, all right. Thank you, thank you, Afia, for that. All right. Could we please have Caleb to answer? You can unmute and turn on your camera, Caleb. Caleb, would you like to give an answer? Okay. Is there anybody else who'd like to answer the question?
So sorry for the delay. I'll be back shortly.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to answer the question?
I am Ayo Caleb from Nigeria, Deeper Life High School. I think and I believe that education has become a priority in Nigeria.
Sorry,
I
Caleb.
think adequate funds.
Please, may you turn on your camera so that we can see you as well.
I think that education should become a priority in my nation, Nigeria. I think adequate funds should be given to the sector in order to ensure quality. Due to the lack of funds, it led to the mishap in education. I think a better curriculum should be adopted into the educational system to ensure it meets up to the standards of other continents, alongside better funding due to adult staffs and normal staffs, them to have more passion in teaching. And I think more professionals, more minds, new minds, more qualified teachers should be also put into the sector to ensure quality and ramification of education. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb, for your answer. Naiko? Naiko Lisenda, your hand is raised.
I think in order for Africa to improve our education, I think we have to first improve our literacy rates. Because in most countries in the sub-Saharan desert, the literacy rates is 50%, meaning less than half of the population can either read or write, which is rather shocking. This alone plays a big factor as where there's a lack of education. In order to receive education, I believe that we need quality teachers. So with the literacy rate this low in most countries, some can have access to these quality teachers. It's because some countries can either find the resources to recruit these large number of new teachers. So these countries would have to rely on external financial support to fund these necessary resources, such as teacher training, continuous professional development, and etc. The reason we need more quality teachers is so that we can enable children to gain a quality education so they can build themselves and contribute in making a better society and receiving education as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Nayuko, for that. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to answer that question before we move on? Okay, Reynold.
Thank you for the opportunity once again. I think for Africa to want the quality education in the country, first thing is that we need teachers, qualified teachers. We should invest in teachers and equip them with quality and relevant training. I know for a fact that there are a number of teachers training institutions and colleges in Africa. And I think that these institutions should equip teachers with what they really need to succeed as teachers. They need relevant training, and they need quality training to help to improve education, quality education in Africa. Another thing I would like to say is that the educational or the learning environment in Africa should be more conducive, because if the environment is not set for learning, it won't encourage the students to learn more. The classrooms, most classrooms, especially public classrooms, even sometimes students have classes under trees in open spaces, and I think that this is not really conducive for a learning environment. So classrooms should be made more conducive for learning activities to improve the quality education in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reynold. Thank you for your answer. Your very well thought out answer. Thank you for that. Is Antibal?
Is my camera okay? I mean, in terms of position.
You're sideways again.
It's still blurry.
Yes, and it's a bit blurry as well.
Is it fine like this?
Yes, it's much better.
Okay, so I believe we should change the definition of the term classroom, because in order to get the best results, education must adapt to the needs of the learner. Beyond structured classrooms, knowledge can also be acquired during community-based meetings or even during a group sports event, none of which include a typical teacher and school desk setting. We need to make a lifelong learning a reality, make it successive because people learn at different paces. We need to give an opportunity to those who are potentially left behind. And also we can find a balanced way to introduce technology. The introduction of technology to the classroom offers vast opportunities to enhance learning and improve data collection. However, to fully harness its capabilities, investments in digital infrastructure and measures to expand teachers' capabilities must be accompanied by educational technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Ntebo. Okay, so I don't see any more hands raised. If anybody else wants to speak, now is your chance. You can raise your hand to let me know. Okay, I think that is everybody for this category. I'd just like to thank you all for your presentations and for your speeches. They were very well prepared, very insightful, and I'm sure we have all gained something from that today about education and what we can do to improve it in our societies, and how we should make it more accessible for everybody. Education is very important. It's like part of our everyday lives. Most of us every day we're at school learning, and some kids don't have that opportunity to be going to school and to be learning. And it should be available for everybody, right? So thank you everybody who spoke today and who answered the questions. You should all be very proud of yourselves. You all did really, really well. So thank you for that. And thank you to African Views as well for giving us this platform to speak. I'm sure we all enjoyed today. Thank you. I would like to now hand over to Dr. Tilly, if she's in the meeting.
Thank you so much, Mati. That was awesome. Thank you. I've really tried to follow through, even though my internet is really bad, but I've been trying to follow through, and we really appreciate all of you. I would like for us to please everyone unmute and let's sing a song together. And the song is I Am Special. So you just repeat after me. Or if you know the song, raise your hand.
If you know the song, raise your hand. If you know the song.
I will sing it, then you follow through.
Then you follow through.
I am special.
I am special.
I am special.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am.
I am very special.
I am very special.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am. Thank you. You are all very special.
Thank
Love
you
you so
too.
much. Thank you. Back to Dr. Wale.
Wow. Congratulations, Mati. I am so impressed. Thank you so very much. I want to thank all the hosts today. You guys were completely amazing. From Rory and Prince, you guys were amazing. And from 10 to 13-year-old, Mufaro, she was amazing. And Mati, I am so impressed. I think this isn't, it has to do with something with Botswana. It's probably in the water. You guys have something so wonderfully beautiful and so pure African that we're also very proud of. Thank you so much for all your presentations today. You children are the microcosm of what we call the African Union. But in the future, that means that we are very hopeful. That is that the African Union will only improve from here. So I want to thank you again for all that you have done today. You've really made us proud in so many ways. We're very grateful for your commitment, for your time. The school children from Nigeria, you guys made so much effort. I think that next time we really need to work on your audio to make sure that we fix it properly, because the only thing that was missing is your audio. We couldn't hear you very well. So we're very sorry that we're not able to fix that properly today, but next time we'll get it right, because you guys have everything going on. You have the nice display, you got the t-shirt. We're so grateful for you and your school. And Ghana never ceased to impress me. I don't know. It's amazing. It's just amazing. So, you know, there's so much quality in Africa, and Senegal today was just as powerful as we expect. It's, you know, this is, when you look at different angles of Africa, you see what bright young people like you are doing. Our hearts are gladdened, and that's why we wanted to make sure that we do this program, and we want to do it in a way that is not competitive. That's why we didn't pair you with your classroom mates so that it feels like you're competing and you're debating. We grouped it in such a way that it's harmonious, it's cautious and courteous. You're able to, you know, discuss and hang out with people that you are older than or younger than, and so on and so forth. That is the spirit that we've been able to experience today. And we've covered some very significant programs. So I know that next time we will do better. So we will continue to work with you all to bring programs like this to the table so that the world can see. Don't forget that this program is going to be edited. This video is going to be edited properly to make sure it reflects all the things that you have said. We're going to sparkle it up and make you look even more beautiful, which is quite a challenge, but we're going to try. And it will air on May 16th, which is the actual day for the observance of the International Day of the African Child. So with this, I want to bid you good night. I want to thank all my colleagues who have been instrumental in bringing everybody together to the table. Everyone worked so hard to make this happen. You know, coordinating with parents, making sure the kids get it right, guiding the kids and helping you with your bios, helping you with everything. But you guys are just amazing on your own as well. As a matter of fact, on your own for the most important part. And your performance today really exemplifies that. I was very impressed with many of you today, of all the things that you've said. I learned so much, so much. And what I learned, most importantly, is that you guys know the same thing that we do as adults, and that's scary. But that's refreshing. It's beautiful that you do know these things, and I want you to know that your voice counts. That's why this particular program is based on how to invest on your dreams and your hopes. So we want to make sure that what happened here today resonates, okay, to your parents, to your relatives, to your friends, to your constituencies, to your government, to your cultural leaders, that it resonates, that you are worth investing in. That's really our goal, to make sure they see the light that emanates from you. We bet on you, and we're so glad that this is a great bet. You guys are amazing. You make us all winners. We're so proud of you. May God bless you. May God continue to guide you, and may you be all that you can be and the best of what you aspire to be. I wish you well. And with this, we say good night and thank you from African Youth Organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
You will get a
Thank
certificate.
you.
You will get a certificate of participation. So don't
Thank
forget.
you, Dr. Wale.
We'll send you a certificate. Yes, Lady Sandra, thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye,
you, thank
everyone.
you. And
Bye.
also the link for the recorded program.
Exactly. That will be it
Thank you, Dr.
on June
Wale. We
16th. Don't
appreciate
forget.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Opportunity.
Thank you from Ghana.
As Samantha said,
Thank you from
I'm
Ghana.
Asana Sante. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great time.
Shehu, my brother, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wait.
Bye, everyone.
We have reflecting on the front.